And you said you were finishing the stories.
We're reading the stories to the website.
The website, okay. Am I speaking loudly
Yeah,
for you?
that's nice. And every painting has a story, and even if there's 3 of the women's circles,
Yeah.
I think that one might be at early in the morning, or another one might be in the evening, and Gordon tends to paint moonlight a lot. This is 2003, so that was a very happy time of our life, this painting.
Where were you at that
After
time?
the Olympics, year 2000.
Where were you living then?
We were living at Magnetic Island and at Darlinghurst, and under a table at Darlinghurst. We had, that's the top of the gallery there, and that's where you bought that painting.
In 2003, but I bought the painting in 1998.
It's the same place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same place.
Okay.
And it was upstairs. There was we built it looked like a cabinet out of beautiful wood, and it had doors, and so we would open those doors, and that was our double bed underneath that. And then during the daytime we could put everything back in, close the doors, and we just had artifacts on the top of that.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when you'd sleep under the table?
Yep. I've slept in worse places.
For sure. Was that a happy time for you as well? Elaine said it was one of your happiest times. Is that how you remember it as well?
Yeah. Peaceful time.
Because it was peaceful. Yeah. What makes a place peaceful for you? Is it the natural environment? Is it the people? Is it no people?
It's the people.
If the people are peaceful. Yeah. And at that time, it was really just you and Elaine.
I lived in corrective services in the Majesty's House. I lived for 10 years in prison.
So it's best to not be around so many people.
And that's not really nice, is it?
No, sounds like the worst hotel ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the other day when you were telling me, we were at lunch and I was asking you about birds, and you said that you could see the birds from the window at the prison.
Yeah.
And that was something that inspired you to paint.
Yeah. Birds.
Was that one of the first things that you painted?
Birds. I think so.
Yeah. So I love thinking about that because I feel like there's almost like, like the circle of life, they say.
Yeah.
You can draw that in sand. And for you, that circle, started with the birds, and then later, as you come back to Magnetic Island, and you start looking at painting the birds again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you were going to be painting now, what do you feel like you might be painting now?
Right now.
Yeah, if you were going to be painting now, what do you feel like you
Finished
might
it.
be painting if you were going to be painting now?
Sometimes I think I have to paint some
Do you want to fish yourself?
painting and disturbing paintings. Like paintings like seeing certain things that don't make me happy.
Like what might that be?
Depends on some of the people are going to mix with.
People that
Characters.
I see, characters that you'd rather not be around.
Yeah.
So what when you paint them, does that take the charge out of it? Because if you paint them, then it's almost like you're taking charge. In a way.
In a way.
Is that it? Okay. How some people feel about photography. It's the power of the person.
You don't let them run your life, but you feel as though you got some control.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you also can depict them in the way that you see them. Like you get to.
Yeah.
Do you want to come through? Just come through.
You film.
No.
It's okay.
I mean, yes and no.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Yes and no. So I want to go back to what Elaine said, something about your painting. When you paint the women's circles, it's with different shades of light, and some often in the moonlight. Yeah. Is there a particular time of day that you like to paint best? Do you like to paint in the morning light, or do you feel more inspired at night?
At night.
For sure, night. Yeah. Because I noticed, in a lot of your
Go from the Australian Museum.
Wartime paintings, fairy paintings.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we are not. There's a kind of dark quality, and I don't just mean the mood, but maybe it's because of the colors that creates the mood. Are they meant to? I'm looking at them now, like the ones on the wall there. Are they meant to be at night?
I can't remember the action.
Yeah.
It's in the painting when I painted it.
Yeah, because there's something about the cover of night is, no matter what, is always about what you cannot see.
Yeah. I started to paint when I was in prison.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I wasn't in prison for a few days or a few weeks. I was there for a life sentence.
Yes, 10 years worth, right?
Well, it wasn't 10 years worth. If I had instead of 10 years, I would have been quite happy with it.
No, I know, but
If that's
you served 10 years, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was going to be 10.
No, so every day you had to live with that
Yeah.
was a full life.
Now, I met guys that had been there for 20 years, so I didn't know whether I was going to be there for 20 or what.
Right.
Gives you a different feeling.
I can't imagine. No, I can't. I won't lie. I can't imagine. Yeah, but I think that maybe that's some of the quality of darkness, that comes through, even in the light. Even in the light. But I think part of what I was referencing too was just the invisible worlds that you make visible.
Yeah.
Making like the fairies, the black fairies, making them visible, and the memes, the things that we can't see with our conscious eye, but you can see.
Yeah.
You can see unconsciously, and also as an artist. Yeah. So that's interesting. Did you hear that? He would say, if he were painting now, he would paint portraits. Have you ever heard him say that before?
Portraits are quite detailed.
But that's what he said, he would paint people. Yeah, I think that's interesting because, so Elaine, I'm going to ask you because you know the correct title. So in this show here at Newstead Art, there are quite a few portraits and even some self-portraits. Can you talk about those a bit, the portraits that are here in the show?
Well, he likes to write signs. He likes to write on the painting. And for instance, what he believes, what he wants to advocate as well, not just like he often says, remember this, remember Chicka Dixon, or don't forget our ancestors that came before us, or that sort of thing, and remember the people that lost their lives even, like his uncle. One uncle there is died 4 days before his 21st birthday.
Is he
And
depicted?
he's buried in France.
What's the connection to France? What's the connection?
First World War.
I see. I see.
Around the corner.
Oh, okay. Oh, was that inspired by your uncle, that painting? And what's it called? Just for the record, what are we referencing, the name of that painting?
Well, we're not sure how close, what relative that uncle is. We're still researching it. The other two were his father's brothers. But the one that died, that passed away before he was shot and died in the war, he died 4 days before his 21st birthday. Yeah, and so when Gordon says portraits, quite often he wants to paint portraits, not so much self-portraits. At the time, Gordon didn't talk about and say, this is my self-portrait.
Right.
But because he said the painting actually looked like him. And he always made himself a bit darker, blacker than he is. For instance, he put his number in prison was 13, so he put it on the slave plate. And we had a slave plate in our museum.
God.
So he put 13 on that. And somehow he was experiencing all of those things, loss of culture, loss of respect for his people, the respect and dignity of being rounded up and put on a mission and driven back. And when they're driven back off their land, then they go on to their brother's land or the next family and tribal land. And they're encroaching on their land, and that's what they used to have probably wars about. But they were trying to survive by going and trying to run away from the redcoats, and the squatters. The squatters were cruel. It's a difference between America and Australia, because Australia was settled by the convicts.
Right.
In America, it was a religious journey, and they were cruel to the Native Americans. But there was a different mentality. There were Quakers, for instance, or different religions also. It wasn't just one religion.
Well, it's almost a difference between, and they conflate and become one. The difference between a crusade and a rampage, right? When you're crusading under the cross, like the Spanish came in the southwest United States and up through Florida, through the Crusades, which were also enslaved people, but then, just the outright rampage of settler violence, that followed in that wake and that you're describing for Australia.
Right across America, yeah. And Hernando de Soto, we used to have a De Soto parade every year in my hometown.
In Florida, yeah.
Yeah, and the conquistadors were extremely cruel.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So these distinctions become just kind of minor when you think about the impact and the effects, which were so similar, and displacement and enslavement. So, yeah, and you, in serving your time, is also a kind of enslavement.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you were free, what was the first thing that you wanted to paint coming out of prison?
I don't know, I can't remember,
If you look at the chronology of his work, like the first things that come out, I think there was probably the whole Invasion series came after that time, after he was released.
I know.
Pardon me.
All of those paintings were sold. We don't have any paintings when he was first. We don't have any.
Do you remember any of the subject matter?
Well, I took a picture of him in 1982 when he came out, and he was painting one painting, but it was a landscape.
Yeah, the landscapes.
Huh.
That was also kind of remembering, wasn't it?
I grew up with the land
Yeah,
on the dairy farm.
yeah. Like the cows that are downstairs. So it's such a beautiful memory that you have guiding all your work. In a way, I don't know if it's how it feels for you, but when I see the early works of where you grew up, and then I look at all the work, I somehow see it like an undercurrent. There's like an undercurrent of homeland in all the work. And then when I talked about that circle,
Come in.
no, yes and no. When I talked about that circle earlier, like the cycle of your work, and it seems that you kind of come back to that, like the land is always the undercurrent, it's always
Yeah.
there. Whether you're on it, it's being stolen in one sense or
That's why I picked the prison.
another. Tell me more. What do you mean? That's why?
I went to prison.
Yeah. I know.
I shot a crime.
What?
I shot a crime.
Yes. I know you. I know you.
It was the land rights.
Yeah. That's the
Case.
connection. Yeah, because it was over land. Yeah. Yeah.
And now you use your paintbrush instead of a gun.
Smiling vintage.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about the other day, because I watched the film about your bush wedding, you and Elaine, and when you went back to your land. And then there's a part in there where it's like you notice the wildflowers, and that's like almost the only thing that's signaling familiarity, you know, because everything had changed so much. But then, with the wildflowers, they still come back, they still bloom, and to me, this is a beautiful metaphor, like for his work. What do you think? You know, the way things go, they go away, but then they come back. You know, that's what I see, this kind of theme.
Yeah, he seems to say that they don't grow there anymore because there's different ones now, and some of them are weeds because they were mined, the land was mined. And so what he paints, like the flannel flowers, for instance, or the waratahs, aren't there anymore. And now there are different flowers, and a lot of those are weeds.
So by painting the waratahs, it's almost like reseeding the flower that can't bloom in that place, but it can still bloom. You know, it can grow in your mind. You can bring it into our minds,
Yeah.
and it keeps it alive.
By painting it.
Yeah.
But after a period of time, it fades a little bit. You get harder to remember little details.
Yeah. Well, like our memories fade as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Gordon used to say that if we made a lot of money with our museum and with his paintings, that he would like to buy the land back again and plant waratahs there, and plant flannel flowers and reseed the whole place, and then that it would become like a national park, or it would leave a legacy, and the story would be to reclaim the wildflowers.
Yeah. Well, I see your work. How many, Elaine? Over 500 paintings. Or
Pardon?
how many total paintings would you say?
About what?
How many total paintings that Gordon has produced?
Oh, I would say thousands.
Thousands. Okay.
Because he's very prolific, and when he was learning to paint, he sold paintings to other prisoners and to prison officers, and he sold them in the rocks to we had one donated to us recently. He bought it. It was a neighbor of his, so he knew Gordon's family. And he called us up and said, I want to give you this painting. I'm older now, but we've had it on our wall all these years, and it's about the area where he lived and Gordon's family was. And it's a beautiful painting.
Can
He
you
just
name
gave
the
it back
place?
to us.
Can you name the place?
Pardon?
What is the name of the place where he was from?
Oh, Minimba.
Minima.
Well, Minimba is the area, it's the land. Is Minimba, would that include the neighbor's property or just your property?
No, I couldn't.
It's the whole area.
Yeah,
Like there was a Minimba school?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was about Minimba.
We got the school open. My family got the school open because we had children.
Because there were 16
16
siblings.
siblings.
Family.
15 siblings.
And Gordon's father was one of 11. So the area became more populated because of the Syron family.
My father was a blacksmith.
Oh, was he? And did he teach that to you?
Pardon?
Did you learn how to blacksmith?
No, I used to watch him, but I never took it up.
Where were you in the lineup of kids? Were you in the middle? Were you in first?
Number 11, I think.
You were toward the end. Wow, your poor mom. But you know what you were saying a minute ago about how people had to move through displacement, and so and then that created more kind of crowding of families and probably conflicts that would not have existed before. So yeah, it's ongoing, isn't it? How many paintings would you say, as a guess, because you probably don't know exactly,
How many?
paintings are out in private collections that you don't even know where they are? Like how many, we could call them missing in a way, like they're somewhere but we don't know where.
I can't put a number on it. I can't even estimate anything. I know that he painted, when he was with me, at least 350 coming through the head paintings, which we call Invasion Day.
Yeah, I do. I have a note about that. There were 350 is what you had said about that as a
But there were
series.
more.
Yeah.
We probably still have 100, but we sold that many. Many were, a lot of paintings were stolen or given away, just.
What do you mean
At
stolen?
the opening, Gordon and I gave Auntie Sue, his sister, one of the coming through the heads.
Oh, just last week.
Just a little one.
Oh,
Like that.
wonderful.
But we've never given her one before, so just to
Oh,
keep for the family. And she can.
that's beautiful. I know I met your sister. I went and visited her years ago. She was really kind to me and showed
Which
me
one?
around. Susan, yeah. Was she a teacher? Yeah. Like what used to teach at the
I've
school?
got 7 sisters.
I know, but were they all teachers? Or Susan? Yeah, but Sue was, yeah. Where was she
Yeah.
living that I would have visited her? Do you remember?
I have no idea, but I don't even know what year that was. She
It was
was
like
a teacher at
probably,
Calgary and
it
all
was-
sorts of places.
It was probably like
Yeah.
20 years ago.
I took pictures of her when she graduated at Sydney University with a cap and gown. And Gordon was so proud of her. Like, that was the first person in the family that graduated from university, because the school certificate was not year 12, that was called the higher school certificate. So when you were 16, you received your school certificate. That's what Gordon had. Yeah, when you were 16, and then you got not like a scholarship, but it was an apprentice, wasn't it?
What's that?
You got an apprentice when you were 16, when you graduated with your school certificate. You gotta to go and study electrical.
No, I didn't get a certificate. I just got in a medical certificate. I did my medical certificate at school.
Yeah. Somewhere along the line, you did get some painting instruction, right? I mean, you did study some technical drawing or something along the line. So would you say then that you're completely self-taught as a painter?
Self-taught, I got tips from other prisoners who painted, who knew something about painting.
So you completely self-taught
Yeah.
Like forgers.
by the forgers in prison. That's amazing. Well, they knew a thing or two.
Yeah.
But Gordon taught himself to paint long before
Yeah.
that.
Well, you
Because
know,
he bought the master's books, and he wanted to be like the masters, so he copied those.
Yeah.
And copied the brush strokes,
yeah.
and he only painted in oils, the
Yeah.
way they did,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is so different to Aboriginal art now. The
Yeah.
artists, they paint, they're given acrylics,
Right,
and
right.
it dries instantly.
Yeah.
You know, when we traveled around Australia, he painted in oils, and sometimes it didn't dry for 2 weeks. When we were homeless and sleeping in our car, he couldn't stop painting. He just kept painting, and so we would leave paintings at people's houses to dry. But then I remember when we were traveling around Australia, sometimes he did watercolors. Those are rare.
Because it was more portable.
Well,
to do
they
the
dried.
I see. What do you mean?
How could he paint an oil painting in a car?
Ah,
And you
right.
go the next day, the wind comes in,
Right.
I mean,
That was
the
just
sand
smart.
blows around.
That was just
desert
smart,
or
yeah.
whatever, like Australia has.
Yeah.
Water paintings, they dry much quicker.
Yeah. But you prefer to paint in oils.
Yes.
Yeah. And it also seems like there's oh wow. Oh, I should show you. Last night, I was down at the Opera House, and they have a projection down there. Hold on. Let me see. What is that indigenous name for that place down by the harbor? Anyway, they had projection.
I haven't been down there for so many years.
This projected onto the Opera House.
Right.
Gadigal stories. They projected onto the Opera House.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, this one's.
Cameron does all the work.
Well, I just took a video of it. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. And it was raining too. So. I just turned around and I saw that's exactly where I was last night and what they've done on it. Isn't that amazing?
That is beautiful.
Yeah, projections. So there's just kind of a continuity in what you see, but you saw it first. You saw it first because no one else was showing this up till now. What I just showed you was March 2026. And when was this painting? Guess.
This thing.
Best guess. 2000s, 90s,
This painting is 2003.
2003. So there, 20 years ago, you were already revealing what now we're just able to see through the projection, right? So I think, yeah, fantastic.
Right, I painted the sails,
Yeah,
all the different lights.
yeah. But it's also, kind of a takeoff point, a jump point for what was there before before the Opera House, before the red coats, before. That's me and Bronwyn. No, I'm just kidding, because we were out there last night. So, yeah. So, oh, it's all good. That's what editing machines are. So is there, let's kind of wind down a bit, because I know you're tired, and I'm tired, I think we're all tired. Is there anything that you want to say from your heart about your work? You know, you've been talking to, I don't know, scores of people have been coming all week long, galleries, newspaper, radio, museums, but you know, like just if you push all that aside, what's the feeling that comes up inside you when you are just with your work? If you're just with your work and none of us are here.
Oh. It's hard to say because depending on what sort of painting I'm doing, whether it's peaceful painting or a violent painting.
There's no in between.
There can be in between, I suppose, but
Yeah.
depends what you're painting.
Yeah. When you stand in a room with your paintings now, like these ones, in this room you've got the water tiles, the women's circle, the men's circle, the fairies, the ballerinas. Does that feel like that goes together for you?
It sort of does. When I do a set of paintings that made I've done, I got rid of a set of feelings.
Yeah, comes from that
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
You feel proud of them?
I am that proud of them.
Well, you should feel proud, honey. Like, you've achieved so much with your paintings. You're a truth teller.
Gordon's War and Gordon's Truth. Maybe that's what the show is really about.
His stories will live forever because the paintings will live forever. Because they're oil, acrylic, sorry.
Well, I just feel so honored to be a tiny little piece of your story, and whatever I can do to keep watering the seed, you know, that's why I'm here to be with you and talk with you, and I get emotional too, just like Elaine. So I don't want to end on a tear, but
Thank you for coming.
But I love you both, and I thank you. I thank you so much.
Yeah, it feels really good to be here. We're like with all these characters here too, like even the red coat and the preacher man walking on the water over there.
Yeah.
And then Kelly here, he's got glasses, he's serving people.
Yeah.
And that's Gordon and me sitting over there.
Yeah, I see.
And this is Gary Foley here,
Oh, is it?
this one. And this is Marcia Langton.
Oh, okay.
And she used to have short hair.
Oh, that's why I didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the mimic spirits in the sky are female because Gordon trusts female.
You can't, when you're painting paintings, you can't always, if you're painting a portrait, it's a depiction of somebody. And it's got to look like them and everything, but when you're painting a painting, it's, you don't really think about the person you're painting, it's just a caricature.
Or maybe also more of the inner person, you know, inside how they would express themselves. Like in your self-portrait downstairs, where Elaine said earlier, well, he paints himself more black, right? And because that's maybe who you are. That's who you are inside. How you see the world.
One of the guys with different paintings,
Yeah.
different times, different moods.
Yeah, of course.
And he has a black soul.
Different times of life. Yeah.
It's a good soul. Gordon's very kind. And I mean, he's donated paintings to the ABC, the SBS, to the School of Excellence in Redfern, to the Redfern community, everywhere you
Yeah.
go.
But I did
Yeah.
get Tom in prison.
Yeah.
Those paintings downstairs, he donated to ASIC at the time.
Oh,
Those early ones, that the National Museum has now, he donated them to the,
so did you just borrow them back for this show?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, like the Parliament House one.
Yeah, well that one, of course. And where does that hang usually, that one?
It stays in their basement, it's never been shown publicly since they bought it.
Oh,
So this is the first time. And it's important, it says, remember our leaders, Chicka Dixon and Charles Perkins and all the people that, you know, remember the Freedom Ride, for instance, and
yeah,
those people are named.
yeah,
I think Charles Perkins is named twice. And
Yes, in the
I
painting.
also think that it's historical because when they had the tent embassy in front of the Parliament House,
yeah. For how
that
many
became a
decades?
land rights. Well, that
Yeah.
was the same year that
Yeah,
Gordon went to prison, 1972, so they coincided, overlapped. That Gordon was fighting for his, you know, against a life sentence at the same time that the embassy was going on. Exactly, it was just like, but somehow it's not in the history books. You know what I mean? It was, it became important to the Aboriginal community. All of those events and the protests against death in custody and the protests of where, you know, they marched from Redfern all the way to the city town hall asking for land rights. Carrying signs, elders speaking out and scared of the police, scared what the police would do to them for speaking out.
yeah,
It was scary.
yeah. Some things have changed and some things
Some things
have
haven't
not.
changed.
Some things remain the same. So that's why what you're talking about and the talk story of the paintings are the story, and it will continue. And it does. So do you want to take a little break now?
Oh, thank you for coming. Miss them and hold the Gordon's hand.
Thank you
Gordon,
for making
hold
it
the Gordon's
possible.
hand. Okay.
Thank you.
And you know how we stop it? We go like this.
Yay.
And it turns off.
Okay, all right.
It turns off the camera. Will you tell them we're finished?
Very.
Finished. And you know what? Jasmine, I'm happy to go in there with you.
Okay, I've just got to finish up.
I'm not,
What's happening?
I'm easy.
Okay,
I need to
great.
relax now.
Okay,
Just
well, I'll
stretching.
give you a bit of a break and then I'll come out. I'm just going to go get some
Yeah,
milk.
I've got a drink of water here
Oh,
somewhere.
thanks, Jasmine. I see something.